Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah and this is my November wrap up. So in November, I read a total of 7 books. I read 2,859 pages and I had rankings ranging from 3 to 5 stars. So not a bad reading month at all. And I'm going to talk to you about some of the books that I read throughout the month of November. So the first book that I read in November, I was actually finishing this off because I started it in October, but that is The Amalfi Curse by Sarah Penner. This is her most recent book that she's come out with. This one has a bit of a magical realism, a little bit historical aspects to it. I have read everything she's come out with so far. The first one being The Lost Apothecary and then The London Seance Society. I have read both of those and I finished this one. I thought this one was good. It wasn't bad. I felt like parts of it really drug on, and I really enjoyed some of the connections that she made throughout this book. So this is about a woman in 1821 that her and a group of women live on this Greek island or Greek coast that they have magical abilities, and that is to ask the water of the ocean to do things like, you know, making the tides stronger or keeping ships from coming in, like pirates from coming in to terrorize things and stuff like that. So they have these abilities. And in this 1821 timeline, there is a group of people who has found out that they have some kind of ability, and that causes them to have better luck than most when it comes to not getting pillaged. So they have people that are coming after them and that are trying to kidnap these women and get rid of them. Then we also have the modern day timeline where our main character is a marine biologist? No, not a marine biologist. She is a nautical archaeologist is what it's called. And so she goes and she looks into shipwrecks and the causes of them and is looking at different things like that. Now she has come to Greece to work on a new expedition, and it just so happens to be on the Amalfi coast, or like around in the Amalfi area. And at the same time, her father, who passed away a few years ago, had told her that there might possibly be an incredible treasure on one of these ships that were sunken in the Amalfi coast. And so she is there kind of in the back of her mind trying to finish her father's look into it and try and find this treasure for her father because he never had the opportunity to before he passed away. So overall, like I said, I enjoyed this book. I thought it was a bit slow at times. It was a bit drug out. Not my favorite thing, not the most memorable thing. Talking about it now is rather difficult because it's been a minute since I read it. So it's not super memorable, but I did give it 4 stars in the moment. I did like the treasure hunting aspects. It kind of reminded me a bit of Fool's Gold, just a tiny bit, looking into the shipwrecks and the treasures and things like that. But I like that we get the different timelines as well, because you see a little bit of things playing out in history, and then you kind of start to root for the characters. But at the same time, I felt like I wasn't super connected to them either, so it was kind of hit and miss. This one, like I said, I gave it 4 stars. The next book I read, which is an easy 5-star, and that was Carl's Doomsday Scenario by Matt Dinniman. This was book 2 in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. This one is them going down to level 2. This is level 3. So this is them going into the 3rd level of the dungeon. I love the series. I think that the progression of Carl and Princess Donna in this game is super duper interesting, and I have such a great time with it. I love the humor in this because it's just kind of, it's funny without trying too hard, I think, and I think that's why I enjoy it so much. So this is book 2. I gave it 5 stars. I'm super happy to be continuing on in this series and really excited to see where it goes. So love this one. The next book I read, I also talked about in one of my, I think it was my scavenger hunt video, but that was Scotch on the Rocks by Elliot Fletcher. This one is the second book in the Maccabee Brothers trilogy. There we go. Maccabee Brothers series. And this is set in Scotland, and this is a set of romance books about the Maccabee brothers and the women that they end up being with. This series, I love this series. It is so sweet. There's no big third act breakup. They feel like these characters have some really, really relatable problems. With this one, our male main character, Callum, is having to, he's got a lot on his plate. Like, his father has really progressive dementia, and and he also is a vet, so he's working, and he's just kind of, he tries to help everybody, and so that means that he doesn't really take a whole lot of time for himself. Our main character, June, in this one, right? Juniper? Yep, Juniper. She is she feels like an outcast in this town. Like, she was a foster kid and has been taken in by this woman and her husband who ran the inn, and now her foster dad has passed away, and so it's just her and her foster mom that are running this inn, and she wants to make some changes and show her foster mom that she has the ability to run this inn without a hitch, update things maybe a bit, but her foster mom doesn't want to budge. So she gets her foster mom to go on vacation, go on a cruise, and so she's running the inn for a while. And it's a lot of fun. There's a little bit of renovation stuff in here, and there's great banter in these books. Like I said, I love it. These remind me a lot of Lila Sage's Rebel Blue Ranch series, except these guys are Scottish and not cowboys. So they still have that kind of rugged, you know, a man's man kind of an aspect to them, but it's just a bit different because they're not cowboys. But I absolutely love these books. I highly recommend it. I give it 5 stars. The first one is Whiskey Business, and I love these books. I think they're super underhyped, but I think they're really, really good. The next book that I read was You'd Look Better as a Ghost. This is by Joanna Wallace. This one is a kind of funny, kind of thriller look into a woman who is a serial killer. And she has been a serial killer for a while, but then one day she kills this guy, and somebody seems to know more about it than they are supposed to, and they try basically blackmailing her. And it kind of is a look into that. It's a very different kind of book. I thought it was definitely an interesting perspective. Maybe not my favorite approach to this kind of a book. I think the perspectives of serial killers is actually super interesting to read from, because you never know kind of what you're gonna get with those characters. But this one was good. It was interesting, but it wasn't my favorite. I thought it was a bit odd. It was a bit rambly, I felt like, and it just wasn't super memorable. So I thought it was interesting. I thought it was a good time, but it just wasn't my favorite, and it's probably not something that I'm ever going to read again. So I think I am going to unhaul this one. I did give it 3 stars. I thought it was going to be a lot funnier than it was, but it wasn't quite there. There were a lot of things that I did enjoy with this. Like, a lot of times she'll be like, well, I wish I had my hammer with me. I wonder what they would look like if I did this to them. Things like that. I thought that was a lot of fun, because it's like kind of one of those things. It's the next level to some thoughts that I feel like a lot of people have, but it's just like kicked up a few notches because she's a serial killer. She actually does this. But I still had a good time with it. I still enjoyed my time with it. It wasn't the worst book I've ever read, not the best book I've ever read. And like I said, I don't think it's going to be super memorable down the road, but I did have a good time. The next book I read, I have a dedicated reading vlog for this because I did a number spinner generator for my pages, and I finished 1 book for that video. But that is Quicksilver by Callie Hart. I'm not going to delve into this too much. It's basically a girl who has a really hard time. She's living a rough life, and she goes through a portal, meets a guy, and they're trying to understand how to make more relics that access the portals to go between realms. And it is a romantasy. I know everybody's probably heard of this book, so I'm not going to say too much about it. And I have a dedicated reading vlog to it. Overall, I liked this book. It wasn't my favorite. There were parts of it that kind of irritated me. There were parts of it that kind of drug on. I was also sick when I read this, so I feel like that might be a part of it. But overall, I gave this 4 stars. I really would like to continue on in this series and see what happens with it. The ending totally threw me for a loop. I finished this book when I was up at camp, and it felt like I was reading like a totally different book just a little bit, because it's so wild and it was so unexpected. So I'm really excited to see where she goes with it. I know everybody hyped this up like crazy. Brimstone is out now, so I do want to get my hands on it at some point, but I did really enjoy this. Like I said, I gave it 4 stars. The next book that I finished is another 5-star, but that is the Dungeon Anarchist Cookbook by Matt Dinniman. This is book 3 in the series, and again, I give it 5 stars. This one is really interesting. There's a lot of trains in this one, and that part gets a little bit complicated in this book, but he does have a note at the beginning saying like not to worry too much about the maze of trains in this book, because he explains it a little bit better later, and it's not critical knowledge in the book. And so I really liked that he did that, because otherwise it would have made things way more confusing. I was able to just kind of just go along for the ride with it and not try and think too hard. So I really enjoyed that. I thought this book was probably my least favorite in the series so far, because I felt like it did just drag a little bit much, but at the same time there were a lot of really critical aspects in this. There were some great prizes that he got. There were some key characters that had changes happen, and I don't want to say too much because it is book 3, but I did really enjoy it. Super excited to read the next one. Now it is December and I can read Gate of the Pharaoh Gods. So excited to pick that up and continue on this story. So this one, they do pick up right where the last one leaves off, which is great, and I really like these. So basically what happens with the first book is that aliens invade. They invade our world, and everybody who is inside or under anything at any time gets crushed, and they get crushed flat and they're gone. The people who are outside when the world ends is they have the opportunity to either try and make a life in this now flattened world, or go into these tunnels, and that goes to the dungeon, and it leads into a video game style world that these aliens have created. It's a giant game, and they're trying to get to the end of the game and win some type of a freedom or something. So that was their options. Carl and his ex-girlfriend's cat, Princess Donut, she is a show cat, go down into the tunnels, and they face all kinds of trials and crazy things happen, and it's just such a good time. It's so much fun. I love these books so much. And so yeah, I give this 5 stars. I absolutely loved it, and I'm excited to continue. The last book that I read was The Holiday Swap by Maggie Knox. I actually finished this on November 30th, the very last day of the month. I just got it by the skin of my teeth. I finished it. And I don't have it with me because I gave it to my mom, so that way she can read it, because I think she would enjoy it. It is very Hallmark-esque. If you are looking for just a really cutesy, PG-rated romance that is holiday themed with baking, this would be a pick for you. The extent of the smut in this is kissing. There is no smut in this book at all. So know that going into it. But it is very much Hallmark coded. It's like any other Hallmark movie or the Netflix Christmas movies, anything like that. It's just like those. So it's really enjoyable. It's just a popcorn type read. There's nothing super in depth with it, but it's really sweet. It's a really fun story. It's about 2 sisters who are both bakers. One of them gets a concussion. She is on a TV set for a baking competition show in LA, and her sister is at home. She runs the family bakery. And when the sister in LA gets a concussion and loses her sense of taste and smell, she asks her sister to swap places with her, and they live each other's lives for the 12 days leading up until Christmas. It was really cute. I felt like the sisters didn't have quite enough differentiation between them as they could have. I know that they're supposed to be identical twins, but I felt like there could have been a little bit more differentiating between them, because I felt like we were just reading kind of from the same character at times. The only thing that you could really tell is like talking about a TV set or LA versus the small town. I thought the love interests were cute but very typical, and it was just, like I said, it was just a really good, like, cute feel-good romance, and it was exactly what I was looking for to kind of kick off the holiday season. I love all the Netflix movies like The Princess Switch and the Christmas Prince, and I think that's what it's called, and all of those. I love watching all those Netflix movies. I watch them every year, and so this one was a lot like The Princess Switch, and I thought it was really cute, and I really enjoyed it, so I gave that one 4 stars. like I said, I already took that one down with my mom because I think that she would really enjoy it, because my mom is like, she always watches the Hallmark movies, so I think that she'll like it a lot. So that is it. Those are the 7 books that I read in November. They are, except for the holiday swap, these are the 7 books that I read in the month of November. Maybe not the best reading month for me of the year, but with hunting and camping and getting super sick, I'd still call that a win. I'm still really pleased with that stock, because that is a lot. 2 super chunky books. Doomsday scenario is, I think, like 300 and some odd pages, and so we had some decent sized ones in November, and so I'm still really proud of that. So have you read any of these books? Did you enjoy them? Did you not enjoy them? What book are you currently reading in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series? I would love to know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.